I just finished watching Dear Santa, and I gotta say, while it was a very, very strange movie to watch on Christmas, given it was a movie about a kid writing a letter to Satan and Satan coming down to grant some wishes of this kid, I actually thought it was a fantastic movie, man. It was an absolutely fantastic movie, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Today, I'm going to be breaking down everything. Spoilers ahead if you have not seen the movie already. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let's talk about Dear Santa. So, I want to start off before we actually get into the plot talking about what I kind of thought about it in general. Like I said, felt a little bit strange watching a movie about Satan on Christmas, but I guess it all worked out because Satan ended up being an angel towards the end of the movie. It actually, I give it a 10 out of 10, guys. I thought it was great. I thought it was really funny. I thought that it was actually, I thought by the end of the movie, it actually, tugged on my heartstrings a little bit. It was actually, and it's probably going to be one of my go-to Christmas movies, to be honest with you. And I want to talk about Jack Black for a second, because something that I don't believe that I've mentioned on this channel is I have nothing against the guy personally. I don't know anything about him personally. I, throughout history, think his movies are very, very overrated, and I do not find him funny. He won me over a long time ago with Jumanji, in the sense by, winning me over. I mean, I enjoyed Jack Black in the movie and that performance that he gave. Then, I enjoyed him as Bowser in the new Mario movie, and now this is another one of those movies that I actually really enjoyed Jack Black's performances, and it wasn't like I was just gauging his performances incorrectly, and I mean, I know I'm in the minority here, but I typically don't find him funny at all. Same thing with Will Ferrell, don't find him funny at all. This movie, I thought he was great. One thing that bothered me, but it didn't bother me to the point where it ruined the movie for me. I hate that he used his Bowser voice for this. I thought he had a phenomenal performance in Mario having that Bowser voice, and he just decided to just play Satan as Bowser. I didn't like that, but other than that, he was pretty funny in this movie. The rest of the actors are great. The parents are great actors. The kid was a really good actor. His friend was a good actor. Emma was a good actor. This movie was really, really well put together, and I'm excited to talk about it for you today, guys. So, let's get into it. The start of the movie, we're introduced to the main character, Liam, who is in the 6th grade. Something that I didn't notice, but apparently they mentioned at the beginning of the movie is he is dyslexic, and that was an issue going down the road. So, the beginning of the movie is just kind of introducing us to Liam, and Liam is your typical, big-time nerd, big-time nerd. He struggles to fit in. He has some mental issues because his brother ended up dying. His family just moved. His parents are fighting. This is a recipe for a kid that has trouble growing up. And of course, the only person that's been nice to him is his friend Gibby and this girl that he likes, Emma. He just ended up making a fool of himself. He's just introduced as your typical nerd, right? He is, you get the picture that I'm painting. And obviously, if you're watching this video, you've watched the movie. The kid, man, the kid's a fantastic actor. He really, really made me feel bad for him at some points. After a little bit of the introduction, we are brought to Liam, who wants to write a letter to Santa. And while I was going through this movie, I was kind of like, how does Satan come into this? It's just this normal Christmas movie so far. They're getting ready for Christmas. Liam wants to write to Santa, so he ends up writing to Santa, but what we don't notice until he goes to put the letter into the mailbox there. And I was wondering, too, because I was thinking, this kid's life is going so south. Somebody's going to catch him writing a letter to Santa, and they're going to make fun of him for it. But no, he ended up, because he's dyslexic, he ended up writing to Satan. And, okay, I thought this was an excellent way to kind of bring everything into the movie to get the movie started, because I thought the whole thing was pretty funny. So we end up just because he wrote, I guess, Dear Satan on it, ended up just flying down the mailbox, down into hell. And then Jack Black, who is Satan at this time, ends up picking it up. Liam goes about his day. At night, Satan, and I'll stop doing in quotations, ends up coming into the room. And because Liam is a naive kid who doesn't know any better, he ends up just buying that Jack Black is Satan instead of, or excuse me, not Satan, Santa. He ends up buying that this character is actually Santa. And he's like, you don't look like Santa. He turns into Santa for just a second. And there were just some really funny moments there. So Satan offers him, just like a genie, 3 wishes. What does Liam use for his first wish? He asks Emma to give him a chance. And this is where the movie kind of really, really takes off, because Satan is acting like a genie. He gives Liam his 3 wishes. He gives the first one, and of course, there is a catch to it. I was worried that this movie would go the Bedazzled route, that really, really old movie. I watched it when I was a kid, where something was just going to go wrong with the wishes, but no, the wishes went perfectly, except he should have been a little bit more specific, of course, talking about how Emma should like me instead of just giving me a chance. Even Jack Black ended up saying that, where he's like, no, I'm just giving you a chance. You can screw it up. She's just going to give you a chance. Liam goes to school. Liam starts talking to her. Jack Black is... And I found it funny the way that he kept appearing in, like, I guess he was... I don't remember what he was doing. He was something in his... Was it a hamster? I don't recall. Anyways, he was in a box that Liam was working on. He ends up pushing him to go talk to Emma. Emma's like, oh my god, Liam. And, like, again, the actors were great. And I thought the story was just funny. Like, you want to talk to me, Liam? And it's just like this little pudgy kid who nobody would like, right? And it's like this, this, of course, like popular girl in the class. Liam, you want to ask me out? Yeah, Liam, I would love to. Are you sure you're not being sarcastic, Liam? Are you sure you're not being sarcastic? Like, you actually want to go out with me? And this is where the movie kind of really takes off from this sense, because Jack Black got Liam some tickets to Post Malone and some really, really good seats. In the meantime, Gibby ends up figuring out that Liam accidentally wrote into Santa, and this is where Liam ends up figuring it out. He tries to confront Satan. He's like, I'm going to back out of the deal. Satan goes, you can't back out of the deal, and don't worry, you're going to make your 3 wishes, and when you make those 3 wishes, I get your soul. Liam talks about it not being fair and just says that he's not going to use his wishes. He's just going to go about his life, and Satan's going to kind of just hang over him. He admits this to his mom, who, I guess understandably so, ends up hiring a psychiatrist because he's like, Mom, I wrote a letter to Santa, I wrote a letter to Satan. He sits down talking about how he wrote the letter to Santa, and in the meantime, Gibby and Satan knock on the door, and this is where, I don't remember exactly where he mentioned this, but he talked about having a friend at some point to his parents, but his parents didn't really believe him about having any friends because, I mean, look at their son. And so Gibby is a friend with cancer, and he knocks on the door because he needs to, he's a W friend. He wants to get Liam out with the girl. So he's like, hi, Mr. and Mrs. whatever his last name is. I'm Gibby, Liam's friend. He said that he would come to chemo with me. And then just Satan comes out of nowhere. He's like, yep, I'm Gibby's dad. Man, Liam is such a good friend, because they want him to get to the Post Malone concert. He gets out of his therapy session, and the dad ends up going, all right, well, have fun in chemo. Then we move on to arguably the funniest part of the movie, and that actually going to the concert, because they got the awesome seats. I guess they got some VIP passes. They head on backstage, and Gibby and Liam are just hanging out together with Satan, and Satan's just doing his own thing. Post Malone walks by, and I like Post Malone, by the way. Just every time that I see him, the dude just always looks so happy, and I can respect that, right? So he just comes in, Liam, just like freaks out, and just giving him a hug, like, Liam, you're my inspiration, man. I can't believe that you're actually here. It was just some really funny back and forth, right? So Liam ends up going to his seats. Post Malone just tells him what an inspiration and a great guy he is. He goes to do the concert, and then Jack Black's like, all right, Gibby, you got the nosebleeds. Then the concert goes on. Post Malone's having a good time. Post Malone, too, is under a spell. I think that Jack Black mentioned that. And as the concert continues on, all of a sudden, Post Malone stops the concert. It's like, I want to bring up the most important man of my entire career. My inspiration. Just starts going off about what a great guy this is. Liam, come on up. So Liam comes on stage, and it's you know what I love about this? It's the social proof, man. He's always gonna get Emma with that social proof, even though he's dancing the way that he's dancing, so insecure, and he ended up just doing some stupid dance moves. Jack Black gets on stage. I don't recall Gibby ended up going on stage. No, Gibby tried to use that to get with another girl. I don't think it worked, right? She had a boyfriend. I don't recall. Regardless, Emma went on stage. Emma immediately falls in love because now Liam's got some social proof. He's A-okay in Emma's books. We're good to go. Emma ends up giving Gibby a kiss on the cheek, and then Gibby's all happy. He's living life. Satan granted his wish. Everything is A-okay, right? He ends up talking to Gibby later that night because supposedly Gibby ended up disappearing, and oh, that's what it was. The girl rejected to him because he had an overbite, and this is where Liam wanted to give his second wish, although he's already worried that he would never actually do this because, of course, he's going to sell his soul. He brings on Satan, asks for his next wish, and that is to fix Liam's teeth because Liam had a ridiculous overbite. All of a sudden, Liam's okay. Everybody likes Liam. Liam is a good-looking young man. So they decide to go on a double date. I don't remember if Liam ended up bringing a girl, but regardless, him and Emma were going to go to a carnival, but the problem was his parents ended up listening throughout the door, and Gibby talking about, all right, this is the time where it's all going to go down. And he was talking about Satan too, so they're really, really worried about what's going on. So they follow Gibby to this carnival or the festival, whatever it was. I don't really recall, but he goes on a date with Emma. He goes to get a corn dog. The mom captures, and I'm like, no. To be honest with you, I thought that the mom was going to just like worry about him in public and just do something embarrassing, talk to him or whatever, and all of a sudden Emma wouldn't like him anymore because like his mommy came to the carnival too. Something along those lines. I thought that was going to happen, but it got even worse because she just snatched him away, took off. So he leaves Emma there. He's stuck in a hospital. They're going to do some brain exams, and the doctor comes out. He's like, yeah, I have bad news. It's not a tumor. The dad's like, yes. And she's like, what do you mean? Or, oh no, he said no, because the dad would rather have him a tumor. And then the mom started freaking out. Just like this whole movie, in my opinion, was consistently funny. Satan then tries to bait Liam into making his third wish because, and I don't know if this is actually real or not. I don't think it was, because Satan showed him on the screen where it's like, oh my God, look at Gibby and Emma having fun together. And it was really funny because Emma was like, so what kind of cancer do you have? Oh, you know, the bad kind, the really, really bad kind. And some days are harder than others, but I fight through it. And this is where Gibby figures out that Emma's into the whole sympathy thing. Gibby's life is completely ruined. And you know what's crazy is this is something that we can all relate to, not in the sense of like specifically like what Liam's going through, but I more so meant like how important these things are. Like if you remember like back in the day, the first girl that actually liked you, how important it was for you to succeed, how your parents, and I'm not saying my parents did this, but like how important to you in this time of your life all of these things are. And I actually felt so bad for Liam this entire time when he was going through this. Like, I can't imagine the first girl ever liking me, and then my parents like stripping me away from that, not letting me go out. Like, man, it's a relatable movie in the sense. Like, I remember like those kinds of days when I was a kid, right? But regardless, a nurse ends up showing Liam's parents the videos of him dancing, and this is where they're kind of convinced, like, oh, okay, maybe he didn't go to chemo. What's going on with Liam? Like, he was actually dancing on stage with Post Malone. Liam ends up going back home. He's full of rage. The parents start arguing, and I don't remember if they mentioned this at the beginning of the movie at all, but they really dove into it a little bit because the parents ended up hating each other after so long because Liam's brother Spencer died, and it's because the mom wasn't supervising them. The dad was out to golf, and the dad kind of blamed the mom, but he didn't say that. Point being, it ruined their relationship. It's ruining Liam, and it's like this really, really serious thing. And that's what I thought the movie did super well, is because at the points where Gibby was like, Liam ended up experiencing an actual low, and the parents were actually fighting. Like, this movie went from some serious, heart-wrenching storytelling to just flat out being stupid and making me laugh. And I thought that's what worked really, really well for it. So, I don't know why I keep saying Gibby. Liam runs away. The parents kind of figure it out. He goes to Jack Black's hotel room, and he actually is going to use his third and final wish. Now, at this point in the movie, I was thinking, okay, how's he possibly going to get around this? Because there's no way this movie's going to end with this kid losing his soul. But it kind of won me over a little bit in thinking that, like, it fooled me a little bit in the sense. I'll get to that in just a second. He ends up wishing for Satan to have his parents be in love, go on dates, watch bands, things like that. Be in love forever. Satan goes done and done. He has to go something like Satan with his third and final wish. You know, I give you my soul or something like that. Satan then ends up telling Liam that he's not going to take his soul until he dies naturally. So he's got like 8,200 years. And they talked about getting his 10,000 steps in, and Liam ends up being upset, taking off. Jack Black ends up telling him to have a good time, don't hold the door open for people, all of that stuff. And it's after this, because that's where I was kind of thinking, like, oh my God, is the movie actually just going to end with this kid losing his soul? But anyways, in between that, he ends up, he's running away, getting his 10,000 steps in. His mom finds him. The parents make up, and he's sitting in the back of his seat, and he's kind of like almost okay that he gave up his soul because his parents are loving each other again. Dad was going to go make pastries, right? They drive off, shows Liam the next day, telling off the crossing guard, trying to stand up to the bully, and insulting his teacher to his core. And he was actually decently good at it. But this is what alienates Emma. And Emma ended up breaking... I don't know if they were dating, but Emma ended up kind of breaking up with Liam, just calling him a bully. And Liam was like really, really taken back by that. He's like, I'm not a bully, right? I'm not a bully. I can't be a bully. But Emma ended up taking off because she's like, I thought I found someone nice. But, you know, like... classic, right? And oh my God, I forgot to mention that entire time where I thought, like, as Liam was going on just insulting people, I thought that this was the type of movie that I was actually going to end on that. And I was like, oh my God, is this how the movie's going to end? This kid actually just gave up his soul and the movie's going to end like that? Because it seemed like that was like the end of the movie. Some music was playing. He's going through life. He's standing up to people. I thought that's where it was going. But of course, we're then brought into hell where it's revealed that Satan wasn't actually Satan. He was pretending to be Satan. You have a really stupid, and this is probably the only time where the humor in the movie didn't really hit for me, is when he was like, you don't even know what null and void means. I know what it means. And, you know, he was just talking in his Bowser voice. That's the only part of the movie that really didn't make me laugh when it was intended to. Regardless, The the last wish is null and void. Satan comes up, tells Liam he has his soul back. He's all happy. He ends up also telling him that the third wish is null and void, and his parents actually fell in love naturally. And this is where Satan ended up telling him, okay. And also he was just talking about how he's going to turn over a new leaf. He's banished from hell. And what it seems to be is that he ended up becoming an angel. He was switching career paths, and it's something like majorly different. Excuse me, I'm looking at my baby monitor over here if you're wondering why I'm looking over to the side. But anyways, Satan ended up having like a really nice conversation with him. He ended up talking about how nice it was to see Gibby's teeth and how happy he was, how great of a girl Emma was, and how much he really liked hanging out with Liam. So he said that he was low on time, so he just finished up writing whatever he wrote on the letter. And I actually did not think, and I don't know if this just makes me dumb, but I really did not think that Liam wrote to get his dead brother back. And he starts reading the letter, talking about wanting some crazy things. And this is where the movie got like super really like heart-wrenching, to be honest with you, because I personally didn't expect him to turn the corner Christmas morning to see his brother just playing. I actually had to fight back, like feeling it, because like my heart sank in. And I was like, oh my God, he got his brother back. Again, the kid's a fantastic actor. He's hugging the heck out of his brother. His brother's just there. And this demon who was turning into an angel, ended up like bringing his actual brother back. That's what he wanted for Christmas. That was his one wish. He ends up looking at the new tree topper the parents mentioned, and it's Jack Black dressed up as an angel. So I think he turned over a new leaf, and that's why I really liked the ending to this movie. And I really liked that the parents were just playing around. It was Christmas morning. Everything was okay. And it ended off with a really funny part too, because Gibby ended up giving him a call saying Merry Christmas. Hey, I got my soul back. Everything's okay. And what he ends up telling him is, I got you another chance with Emma. Turns out she's in a whole sympathy thing. So I told her about your dead brother. The movie ends. Perfect way to end the movie. Tearing apart my heart, making me laugh at the end of it. Like, this movie I thought was a 10 out of 10. We saw, in my opinion, 2 10 out of 10s in a row. That being this movie, Dear Santa, and the new movie that just came out, Carry On, which, by the way, if you're interested in hearing a review to that, you should check out this video on screen right now. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Take care.